think one of the latent heresies that we have to always be conscious of is that in striving for our own independence and action, I think that we often fall into thinking about God as the watchmaker, the Deus conception, that God made the world and set it to be in existence and stopped acting on it, right? But that's precisely not true. The Lord is constantly acting on us. He's holding us always in existence and bestowing on us, as you're suggesting, many gifts. So in understanding God as creator, we need to understand that he's continuing to bestow things upon us, such that we can know him and that we can love him. And I think that it's our own. I think that reconciling our own independence is part of what we have to get over as we start talking about indulgences, and because we have to understand both that God is acting on us and that we're responding to the ways that he acts on us. So indulgences aren't something we earn without God and without God's grace. That would be a misunderstanding. And it's not something that they're not something that was fabricated by us. They have to be understood ultimately as gifts of the Creator. So I think those are two really important things to get right from the outset. And to do that, we have to understand, as you're suggesting, that all of this is downstream of the merits of Christ. But of course, another thing that we absolutely have to understand clearly is the church, and the church's role in all of this. So it belongs to the church in a special way to be a mediator of those merits of Christ and of the merits of the saints.
Yeah. So when you think about it causally, which I'm sure all of us, on Wednesday afternoon are thinking about things causally, it's like, but how does the toaster make it such that these things turn orange and then never mind. But when we think about this causally, so the Lord God ordains that an act posited, or an act committed or performed in grace gets assigned to it a reward. All right, so to a merit corresponds a reward by virtue of the divine ordination. So not only does God cause that arrangement, but God also causes the act and he causes the reward. So let's say the general sense is if X, then Y. So in the case of an indulgence act, if you pray for 30 minutes in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament and you receive Holy Communion, and you will have gone to the sacrament of confession within 8 days on either side of the event, and if you pray for the Pope, an Our Father and a Hail Mary, and if you seek to be detached from, sin, then is assigned this plenary indulgence, which you can then claim for yourself, or you can assign to somebody who's gone before us in death. Okay, so that is a kind of merit reward structure. If you do these things, then you will have this plenary indulgence assigned to you. So if X, then Y. So not only does God cause this arrangement, the if X, then Y, but he also causes X, and he also causes Y, and he causes that Y be the fruit of X. So it's not like sometimes when we think about indulgence, like you said, we're thinking about it in terms of a kind of manipulation of the divine system, or we're thinking about it as a kind of seizing what is rightfully God's as if it were ours, like Prometheus. That's not what's taking place. All of this is an expression of the divine mercy. All right? If X, then Y, that's from God. X, that's from God. Y, that's from God. The fact that Y comes from X is itself from God. So this is something that God reveals, and like you said, that he mediates through the life of the church, such that the church, in her competence, her God-given competence, can say these good things merit these rewards because God wants you to enjoy them. God wants you to be healed and grown by them. God ultimately wants you to live the divine life, to enjoy perfect relationship with him. And so, seen in that light, it might sound then a little bit bold to be able to claim knowledge of these types of things, but it sounds a little less crazy in terms of potential manipulation or seizure of what is not rightly ours. Father Jacob Bertrand.
Father Gregory.
A Dominican, a Franciscan, and a Jesuit walk into a bar. One of them asks the audience to subscribe. That's not a joke. Any ways you can improve upon it?
Just don't tell jokes.
Right. This is not a joke. Please subscribe. Cheers.